All right, so today, November 5th, Mike Borgonzi had a press conference talking to the Titans media. And I want to start off by saying this. This press conference may be the best press conference that Titans fans have gotten to see in a long time. Now, this year, that's not really saying much, but still, I think Mike Borgonzi did a fantastic job today in addressing a lot of things, and there's five main points that I have about this press conference. The first point that I want to make is the fact that Mike Borgonzi, he was open and insightful in this press conference. And he acknowledged that he understands that the fans are frustrated and that this organization is going to have to win back this fan base's trust. And I mean, that's something that a lot of fans have pretty much said is they don't trust this team right now. They don't trust the people in charge. So he understands that they're going to have to do things to earn that trust back. And they plan on doing that. Now, the second point I want to hit on is he addressed the Jarvis Brownlee trade in a little bit more detail. Not too much detail, but we figured out a little bit more. And you see up there where it says team first mentality, accountability, attention to detail, and willingness to work. And that was Mike Borgonzi on building culture. And he gave praise to Jarvis Brownlee. He talked about how Jarvis Brownlee is a promising young player. He wished Jarvis Brownlee nothing but the best going forward, but he also said that right now the Titans do not have the culture established to be able to develop Jarvis Brownlee like he needs to be developed or the attention that he would need. Basically, Jarvis Brownlee was not a culture fit. Jarvis Brownlee is a guy where if he goes to a team that already has a culture established, like, say, a Kansas City Chiefs or a Philadelphia Eagles, they can take on those players because it is not going to disrupt their culture as much. The Titans, they're trying to build that culture back. So you can't have players who are unwilling to meet the standard that you are trying to meet. And the big thing here, I think, is the accountability. Because we saw early in the season when Jarvis Brownlee was still with the team, reporters were asking him about the holding calls and the penalties on him, all of that. And his response was pretty much, that's just how I play. He didn't have that willingness to try and change the way that he plays. And while that physical, trying to think of the right words here, that physical play that he brings is nice to see out of a corner, you have to know when to dial it back a little bit because you are hurting the team with penalties. Jarvis Brownlee did not have that accountability. He didn't have that willingness to work on those things. That is what I gathered from Mike Borgonzi opening up a little bit more about the Jarvis Brownlee trade. Now, he also addressed the Roger McCreary trade. And basically what this came down to was value and draft position. They were able to deal McCreary to the Rams, who had the Titans' 5th-round pick from a trade that the Titans made last year. So without that 5th-round pick, the Titans, they're set up to have a pick at the first part of the 4th round and the first part of the 6th round. And Mike Borgonzi said, there's 80 picks roughly in between there. We wanted to get back to the start of that 5th round, get another pick there. McCreary was on the last year of his deal. He didn't just get rid of him because McCreary wasn't a guy that he drafted. They were looking at the value of it, and they found a way to be able to get back in between that 4th and 6th round pick. Now, another thing is he talked about Jeffrey Simmons and why they did not try and trade away Jeffrey Simmons. Because Jeffrey Simmons is such an important piece to this team. He said that Jeffrey Simmons is a pillar for this team. When he talks about them trying to build this culture and what they are looking for, Jeffrey Simmons exemplifies that. He shows up every day and leaves everything he has out on the practice field. He works with the young guys. He shows them what it takes. He is one of the best players at his position in the league. And Mike Borgonzi said that Jeffrey Simmons will be a big part in helping them turn things around for this Titans team going forward. That is what you need. You have to have those pillars to be able to build this culture up. And Jeffrey Simmons exemplifies that. And the last thing that I want to talk about from his presser, because he didn't talk much about the next head coach, like the head coach search. But one thing that Mike Borgonzi did provide in this presser about that is, for the next head coach, they want a leader for the next head coach, a guy that is a leader. He doesn't care if they're more offensive-minded, if they're more defensive-minded. What he cares about is finding a guy that is a leader for this team as a head coach. So, again, I think this was the best press conference we have seen from someone representing the Titans in a long time. And again, that's not saying much given, the press conferences that we've seen this year. But I think Mike Borgonzi knocked it out of the park. I would like to see more of these where it's just Mike Borgonzi out there talking about the team to the reporters. I thought he did a fantastic job. But let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments.